Yo, what's going on? Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. Let me know if the audio's good, if the visual's good. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, or either just let me know in the comment section if everything sounding is looking good. Shout out to everybody. Happy Memorial Day weekend. We got some things to talk about. We got some football next week. Well, not really football, but OTAs starting next week, and we got some things to talk about. So, like I said, let me know if the audio's good, if the visual's good. Let me know what's going on. Shout out to everybody that's already in the building. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Let the algorithm know that we in the building. Let the other Giants fans know that we in the building. That way they know that they can check in right now. Thank you very much for letting me know that I'm good. I'm good. Perfect. Let me get this fixed real quick before we do anything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, shout out to everybody. So first off, I want to say, hopefully everybody's enjoying the beginning of their weekend. Again, it is, Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day is Monday, and it's not just about the barbecue and beers. It's Memorial Day. And much love and respect to everybody that made the ultimate sacrifice, especially in our armed services out there, and to the family of those that lost their lives. Thank you, and thank me. Oh, sorry, not thank me, but thank you for your service. But yeah, we got the OTAs coming up. I'm excited about that. We finally get to see how the offensive line is going to line up. I'm very curious about that, to see exactly where Evan Neal is going to start this journey at guard. Is he going to start as a starter or with the first team? Because they will be lining up. So I'm excited about that. I'm curious to see if they go ahead and just give him, the right guard spot, or if they're going to put him on the left side. I don't know what's going on with Runyon. But man, it's going to be some exciting things happening, because there's going to be some questions, not a lot, but some questions being answered. And again, that's May 27th to 28th of the first 2 days of OTAs. I believe that's Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course, we're going to have some updates then. We got to see what's going on. But shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to who got here first, man. Shout out to my man Don. Don in the building. My man Giant Topic is in the building. Ryan's Big Blue Podcast. Shout out to Ryan. Ryan, hopefully everything is going well for you. Congratulations, too. I think I said it last week, too, on hitting 100 subscribers. I believe you're over that number now. Should be over that number now. But shout out to you. And again, if you're in here, make sure that you subscribe to Ryan's Big Blue Podcast. The biggest is in the building. Shout out to the biggest. Zion is in the building. What's going on, Zion? Shout out to Luann, says Dash knows what. That's what's up. Shout out to my man Born for Sports in the building. Another fantastic content creator here on YouTube. I can't just call him a Giants content creator, because he does all New York sports. If you're not subscribed to Born for Sports, make sure you go ahead and do that. Ryan already going there. I think GVR starts at guard. We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to get into that, man, because I'm feeling the same way. Born for Sports. You know where I'm going already. You guys are thinking the same way that I'm thinking. Thinking the same way that I'm thinking. So just want to get these dates out of the way first. Again, OTAs, you got the first two OTAs on May 27th, 28th, and then they come back after the day's break and have the 30th. And then after that is June. And then you know what happens after June? We hit that dead spot where we don't have anything, and then training camp starts. Then training camp starts after that. But you guys already had the segue going, so we might as well jump right into it. Camp battles, position battles. And I think it's this. Shout out to Stacy. What's going on, Stacy? Shout out. I'm trying to figure out exactly, right? Because I think GVR is Greg Van Roten. Right now, I can see him being the right guard over Neal. I can see that happening. The only reason why I think they try to give that to Evan Neal is because he was a first-round pick, and they're trying to salvage Evan Neal. But GVR is just not a threat to Evan Neal at the guard spot. GVR is also a dark horse, in my opinion, for JMS. So in one of my position battles, it's actually, across the offensive line. I had a John Michael Schmitz versus Greg Van Roten versus Evan Neal type of deal going on, man. Let me know what you guys think about that, because of course I think John Michael Schmitz is his spot to lose. A lot of people are saying this. Well, I'm saying that this is a make it or break it year for John Michael Schmitz. But if John Michael Schmitz does not play up the par starting early, I don't think they hesitate to snatch him. I don't think they want to, but I don't think they hesitate to snatch because last year when we saw Greg Van Roten play the center spot, he played it pretty well when JMS was out hurt. But also, it's not even that cut and dry because you have Evan Neal and then a lot of people. Shout out to my man Ryan. He said, he got GVR starting at right guard. Now, I think that Evan Neal is going to get those first team snaps, but guess what? We only got to wait a couple more days and we'll find that out. Who's going to be running with the first team? Again, everything's going to be on the air. It's OTAs, but at least we get to see these guys line up. I believe the beat writer should be in the building for the first day, so I expect some updates. If you guys don't follow a lot of these beat writers on Twitter, I suggest you guys do that, or X, because they do give us, real time updates. If it is one of those open to media practices on the first OTAs or the first, which I believe it is. My man Zion Hunter says, this is my first time catching a live on time. I've been following since off season last year. I want to become a sports analyst. Big Giants fan. I think I want to start by doing a podcast, especially on our G-Men. Now that's a fact, man. I tell you this, man. Like I tell everybody else that says the same thing. Just got to do it. Hit the record button and got to do it. That's it. That's the hard. That's the obstacle right there. Is actually, I don't know if you're nervous about it. Like you said, you're thinking about it, but if that's what you want to do, if that's a passion of yours, you got to go ahead and just do it, brother. You got to go out there and do it. Shout out to Deb in the building. She says, I thought I read too that Bo can play center. Could be wrong. Nah, a lot of people are saying that too. They saying Bo has versatility all across the line. There's no position. That's what they're saying. He hasn't played center at all. But the way they say that his skill set is, there's no position that he really can't play. Athletic monster for an offensive lineman. I like that. For me though, I want him to start off, as a tackle. And if it doesn't work out, then you go ahead and kick him inside. Now, if guys are struggling and you can't, then you get in where you fit in then. But he does have that versatility. You are right. You're correct. A lot of people saying that he could possibly play even the center spot. A lot of people already have him as a guard anyway because of his arm length. He measured right at, I believe at the combine, he was 32 and some change. So right under that tackle threshold of 33 inches. And then we saw Joe Shane pretty much knock that down and say that, no, his arms measured exactly 33 inches. So you kind of know. You kind of know what they're thinking when it comes to Bo. And for me, when I watch Bo, the way he plays on outside on the island by himself, he has the footwork, he has that nastiness to him. If he can survive his arms not being 37 inches long or something like that, then he should be good. I think they definitely should start him on the outside first. My man Stacy says Neal can be a beast at guard if he wants it. I agree with you. For me, I've seen enough. I thought they should have moved him to guard last year, especially when we were mathematically out of, contention. I think we should, those last two games, we probably should have, kicked him inside just to see what he can do. They didn't do that. So now we're spending this whole offseason trying to figure out, okay, can he play guard? And I just wish they would have took the opportunity to play him last year at guard, just so we can have a little better of an idea. Right now we're saying, okay, he's strong. He should be able to operate, in that phone booth, not on the island by himself, but stuck in between two offensive linemen. He should play better. So I mean, everything to me is pointing to he should be a good guard, but we'll see what happens, man. And if he does end up being a good guard, two things are happening. You're going to end up having to pay him possibly, but also why not? Because if he turns out being the guard, I'm going to be mad because we should have moved him at guard 2 years ago when I was yelling it, and a lot of other people were yelling that he should have been moved to guard when we saw that he couldn't survive on the outside. He had issues in practice blocking Shane Zimenez. Like if you're getting your butt whooped by Zimenez, come on now, what are we doing? Shout out to my man Mosley, says salute fam, Jersey is in the building. Shout out to Jersey. Let's shock the world. Go Giants. That's a fact. My man Born for Sports says, what's interesting is this. What if I tell you we could have GBR at center and Neal at right guard by week 4? If JMS doesn't take a step forward, point of attack. No, I think it's very possible. But again, these guys are going to give their draft picks, especially these high draft picks, every opportunity, to succeed until it's just playing. And to me, a lot of things have been playing already, but they're going to give him every opportunity. JMS, Evan Neal, they're going to give him every opportunity, to prove a lot of people wrong. Shout out to Moses. Just smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's a fact. We on the road to 10K. We almost at 8,000 now. So let's keep the channel growing. Shout out to my man DeMarco in the building. He says, in your opinion, who is the weakest link on the O-line? Come on, man. To me right now, if my starting lineup, I'm not going to include Evan Neal. I'm just going to say GVR as a starting right guard, right? If that's the case, I got Thomas, Runyon, JMS, GVR, Illuminor. The weakest link in that lineup is going to be JMS, in my opinion. JMS. It sucks, but that's just how I feel at the time. You let me know what you think. JMS, definitely in that lineup. Now, if you put JMS and Evan Neal out there and take GVR out, it's a toss-up because there's a big question mark when it comes to Evan Neal. But even with that, Evan Neal's run blocking grade last year was in the 80s. We saw what the scores were for John Michael Schmitz, and it wasn't good at all. So still is going to be JMS in my opinion. But I'm also rooting for JMS too, because if he works out, that's less that you have to do moving forward, and you don't have to worry about having to draft another center, or I think there's another center in the building too, as far as a guy that's not playing center right now. But I like Jake Kubas a lot, and I saw that Bobby Skinner had put out a tweet to Jake Kubas saying Jake Kubas better learn how to start taking snaps. This is what he's saying. So a lot of people have already given up on JMS. For me, I told you guys before jokingly, I got his bag packed. He's at the bag's at the front door. If he doesn't play right this year, it's over for him, man. But I'm hoping that he proves everybody wrong. My man OKC Dunn let me know that the Thunder up. Damn, the Thunder. I was just watching the game. It was the Wolves were up. Now it's over for them. It's over for the Timberwolves and the Knicks. The Knicks got me so pissed off, man. I'm not even gonna start talking about the Knicks right now because it'll turn into something else. My man, Born for Sports, you already know. Luann, you already know. These Knicks pissed me off these last 2 games, man. I don't know. I don't even want to get started with that. We're gonna keep it Giants for right now. My man said he's 079 says the biggest question mark to me this year is Bowen. I'm getting to that a little bit later in the show. I was saving that for later, but yeah, definitely Bowen. Definitely Bowen. Jose in the building, he says, what's good, Dash? Evan Neal is going to play his heart out this year, saving his career mode. Hyatt is open. That's a fact. Hashtag Hyatt is open. And the moon balls are on the way for Hyatt. Shout out to Russell Wilson. And I'm talking about Russell Wilson today, too, a little bit later. We'll see what happens with that. Shout out to my man Paul, says, I'm excited about Cam. Cam who? Can he give us a great run? Oh, Cam Scatterbo. I'm bugging. Can he give us a great run threat? Oh, can give us a great run threat to set up the play action. Now, I like everything that Cam Scatterbo brings to the table for the Giants. Just you see him. He's a knucklehead. I saw the interview with him and Jackson Dart. He's asking Jackson Dart to headbutt him and all that. So you kind of know what you're getting with Cam Scatterbo. The only question mark for me for Cam Scatterbo is, can he take what he did in college and have that translate? Can he run with that same authority? Is it going to break the same amount of tackles? I think he's for sure going to try, because that's just in his DNA. He's going to give you everything he got for sure. Pause. My man David Daniels says, if we survive all these camps without injury, I can see JMS center, GBR at guard with Neal being in a backup. Hope he can revive his career. I tell you what, if he ends up being a backup, he's not reviving his career in New York. That's for sure. If he can't beat out GVR, he's as good as going. He'll be on the bench. He'll be a guy in emergency situations. But Evan Neal has to beat out GVR, for his career with the New York Giants' sake. And that's crazy too, because you figure GVR is 36, 37 years old. Evan Neal coming out with all that type of hype. He should be able to beat out GVR at guard. I would hope so. Zion says, what's your take on Brian Burns restructuring Abdul's contract, and why are some fans hating on him for wearing Aziz's old number? Like, I love him, but he wasn't no LT. Now, you saw the video, man. That was the right choice. The video that I put out last week, actually the day before they actually restructured the contract, I said the ideal situation is Brian Burns, because Brian Burns gives you enough space, and they actually didn't even do a max restructure. They only freed up about $10 million in cap space. They actually could have did a little bit more to try to even, give you even more breathing room. But I think they're going to make some cuts here. I think you're going to probably hear about Graham Gano and some other people that might save you $2 to $3 to $4 million. Unfortunately, one of those names on that list also is Daniel Bellinger, and you guys already know how I feel about Daniel Bellinger. But I'm happy that they finally got the restructure for Brian Burns. It was not a surprise. We had $1.6 million in cap space, prior to the Brian Burns restructure. So we knew it was happening. They had other options with Dexter Lawrence's contract, with Andrew Thomas's contract. I don't want to do any of that, especially Andrew Thomas. I'm not touching Andrew Thomas's contract. He can't stay healthy. He's a big question mark. And right now, he's not costing you too much money. And then all of his guaranteed money, I believe that's what they said, all of his guaranteed money is up after 2026. So you do have an out after 2026 with Andrew Thomas. But if you restructure or do anything to his contract, you push that back, and we don't know how healthy he's going to be. Praying for Andrew Thomas. So if he can give us a full 17, I will be very, very happy. Giants Topic says, yeah, I agree with you there. He says Bo should start at OT, and if he doesn't work, then go inside. I'll still re-sign Jermaine Illuminor, especially with Thomas's health. Just talked about it. Giants will have the cap space to do it. Yeah, we got a little more breathing room next year for sure. But yeah, all the points that you're saying, I agree with it. Jermaine Illuminor and Jermaine Illuminor, they offered him a 3-year deal. He said no, he wanted a 2-year deal because he wanted to, to re-sign again or re-up again and get some more money. So I think since they already were going to offer him, a 3-year contract, I think that's probably going to be something that they look at, especially if he plays well this year. And he figure he's only 29. We saw GBR, he's playing until he's 37. We talk about you can get at least another 6 years out of him, at least. I wouldn't hesitate to re-sign Jermaine Illuminor right now. But, it is what it is. Man, Paul says, Dash, he says, you think Hyatt will benefit from Russell's deep balls, or is he just a bust? I don't think Hyatt is a bust, right? I don't think he's a bust because of a few things. When you drafted him for one particular reason. One set of skills, and that's to get the deep ball, right? But then you have a quarterback that doesn't want to throw the deep ball. Some indecisiveness and all this other stuff. Now you got a few guys on the squad that are not afraid to throw that deep ball. So I think he will benefit from that. But I can't say that he's not a bust. When you look at his grades, when you look at his stats, 3rd round pick, 2 years in the game already, no touchdowns, not even cracking 500 yards once. Last year, he didn't even crack 100. I don't think he even cracked 100 yards last year. He's creeping. He's creeping there. He's creeping on being a bust. I'm not going to say it yet, too, because I want to see him play with a real quarterback. Well, what I should say, consistent quarterback play. A man born for sports agrees. JMS is the weakest link. MKM, what's going on, MKM? He says this season the Giants better not. Embarrassing us, Giants fans. They better not. Yeah, they better not. This season better get more wins than losses. Now I agree with that. I think it's going to happen too. When I look at this defense, I look on the names on paper. When I look at who's playing quarterback now, like a lot of people are downplaying. Like they'll say, "Oh, Russell Wilson is washed," or "Russell Wilson is on the way out." Even an old Russell Wilson is a better situation than what we had last year, and I'm talking about the complete quarterback room. When you look at you got Russ, you got Jameis, you got Jackson Dart. Just the most important position in football, we upgraded. Just that alone should give us some more wins, going into this season. So we'll see what happens with that. Wow, 34-14. That means they went on a run. OKC went on a run. I mean, he says Knicks pissing me off too. That's a fact. I don't even want to get into it. Shout out to my man Sleazy in the building. Say, yo. MKM says, in time for New York Giants, bring back Giants helmet. Yeah, it's time for them to bring back. Yeah, I want the Giants on the helmet too. I want it on the helmet bad. My man born for sports says Knicks got me tight too. Tibbs is done. What does Tibbs do? What does Tom do? You tell me what he does. I don't know what he does. I don't like his game plan. He doesn't make adjustments, in my opinion. It's a lot of things. I'm gonna take a couple seconds to talk about these Knicks and what I don't like. First, what I don't like about basketball, period, right now, and like I said, I'm older. These guys do not follow their shots, man. These guys do not follow their shots. You got Mitchell. He's the only one rebounding. Cat is taking 3-pointers all over the place now. He does make them on occasion, more he makes them more than he misses. But man, like that was a good look at the end of that game. Straight top of the key. I don't know, man. It's a lot of things with modern day basketball that I don't like, but listen, it is what it is. Follow your shot, though. Follow your shot. You need more than one person in there rebounding. Do that for me. Follow your shot, rebound, please. And don't just stand around looking at Jalen Brunson when he start dribbling around all the place. Like, move around, cut. Do some backdoor screens or something. You got to move around, but once you give it to Jalen Brunson, it's pretty much a wrap, if we're going to be honest. Especially if you're down. Brunson going to try to score for sure. Shout out to Brunson, though. And also, who wants to see the Pacers and OKC in the championship? Nobody want to see that. There's no storyline there. The storyline is the Knicks. It's been, 50 years? That's the storyline. I need the Knicks in the championship. I need them in the chip. For sure. Shout out to my man Jerry. He says, how do you feel with our wide receiver core? I know Russ is not the same Russ. I just was talking about that. See, yeah, there you go. He says his IQ will have a good impact. No, that's a fact. Now, that's a fact. Again, one thing Russ can do, he can be more consistent than what we've been dealing with. Not gun shy, not afraid to throw the ball out there. And again, you got Neighbors, you got Hyde, you got Slayton, you got guys that can get open. You got guys that can get deep, pause, and get open. Pause again. Good Lord. But just got to be able to give these guys a chance, man. Give your playmakers a chance. That's all I've been asking for. Like, we can complain all we want. I'm not even sticking to the script right now. There's other things I want to talk about. We done talked about the Knicks. But listen, we've seen guys open on the field. We've seen it. And the ball not get there. Or the ball was late. Or the ball was off target. And just that alone, I know that Russell Wilson is going to put a better ball out there for these guys. That's it. I rest my case when it comes to that, though. Luann says, Dash, the O-line needs to stay together and gel. Same guys on the O-line and stop moving guys in and out, changing players. Eli had a good O-line, won 2 Super Bowls with that line. I don't like the musical chairs either. I call it the musical chairs. I think that's the worst thing. Yes, you want your offensive line to be versatile. No, but come on, man. They need to learn the position. And then we could talk about them being versatile. Like, as much as people don't like Joshua Ezeudu, I don't think he really got a fair chance. He was a guard in his first day of camp, not even camp, OTAs, because Andrew Thomas had to clean up on his ankle. They threw him at tackle, and he could not survive at tackle. And the small amount, I gotta turn this down a little bit. Hold on a second. Let me turn this down a bit. A little too loud, distracted me. All right, where was I? Yeah, but yeah, we can't do the musical chairs. I hate it. Even last year with Carmen Brasillo, when just think about last year when they first started, right? When they first started camp, OTAs last year, they had Evan Neal at right tackle. Illuminor was at left guard. Runyon was at right guard. That's how we started this. That's how we started OTAs last year. Evan Neal gets hurt. Illuminor goes to right tackle. Runyon goes from right guard to left guard, and it's just then we signed GPR. It was just musical chairs last year. And Carmen Brasillo actually had these guys playing well at the beginning of the year before Andrew Thomas got hurt. But I hate it. Like, everybody knew when you signed Jermaine Illuminor last year, he was going to be the right tackle. Why he started off at left guard baffles me. baffles me. And then once he moved the right tackle, everybody already knew. Like, we wasted weeks. We wasted weeks doing that. It didn't make sense to me. Like, we already, like, I understand that we're fans, but we watch football. You know, we're not dummies. We saw Illuminor. We're like, well, what's Illuminor doing at left guard? Like, what are we doing here? And then 2.5 weeks later, he's the right tackle. And, you know, everybody was happy with it. We took a deep breath and said, yeah, Evan Neal doesn't deserve to be on the starting offensive line, especially at the tackle spot. And that's when we really said, okay, it's over for him. Just move him in that guard. Just move him in. Because before we signed Greg Van Roten, it's like, just kick him inside already. You signed Jermaine Illuminor because of what he did at right tackle. And you signed Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle because Evan Neal was not holding up at right tackle. But then you go ahead and start him at left guard. Come on, man. It is, man, whatever. I'm not trying to hear that. Dope Dez, shout out to Dope Dez. Says Big Dash. Joe Draft Picks has to show he has given up. Oh, yeah. I mean, giving up on Neal at a tackle, I would agree with that. But we'll find out Tuesday, though. We'll see where he lines up. We'll see if he runs with the ones on Tuesday. I don't know, though. We'll find out then, and then I can make it, you know, I can react to that. Won't Stop Dream Team. What's going on? Born from Sports says not giving up on my Knicks. OKC. Donald, he said laugh out loud. We winning tomorrow. That's a fact. It's a must win in Indiana for sure. For sure. DeMarco says who's coming off the field if Hyatt catches fire, and be the wide receiver. Wandell's coming off the field. Wandell is coming off the field. Wandell, in my opinion, is the gadget guy. Treat him like the gadget guy. And it's not even Wandell's fault. You know what I mean? It's not entirely his fault. He's limited. Like, his stature limits him. But if Hyatt is doing what we hope he can do, then that's who's coming off the field. Because that frees up the ability to put Neighbors in the slot and move him around more. Again, play him like you did CeeDee Lamb. 1 second. But, you know, my wife just texted me talking about the salmon is fire. She made some salmon. I guess it was really good that she decided to text me. Oh, man. Born for Sports says would love to start Bo at right tackle if he's ready. I mean, yeah, if he's ready, yes. Absolutely, if he's ready. Luann says Hyatt had a great game against Arizona, if I remember. Yeah, he did. And it wasn't even like a great game. It was like he made an impactful play. And he had a couple of those in his rookie year. And then we got away from him. After that. Money Mike says, I'm a Nets fan, but I thought the Knicks was definitely going to beat the Pacers, looking like a dub now. Yeah, it is what it is. I hate that the Nets left New Jersey. I'll tell you that much. Stacy says, we'll talk about it. I'll switch what I was going to talk about just for a second to talk about Bowen. Because you done brought Bowen up a couple times now. Let me just check some of these other comments before I talk about Bowen. Kyler caught me with the pause. He says, hey, yo, deep balls is wild. And follow up with Bus is diabolical. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Side guy Brad says, Hyatt does nothing for special teams. He doesn't. Guess what? I don't care about my wide receivers playing special teams. That's what my cornerbacks are for. My backup safeties, backup cornerbacks. That's in my opinion, that's what they're used for. I don't care about my wide receiver being a gunner. I wish Hyatt could be a returner, but he ain't got the frame for it, and he don't got the wiggle for it. He don't got it. I like Amir Marset because he gave us our first kick return since Dwayne? What was that guy's name? Dwayne, number 17, Dwayne, whatever. But he ain't give us. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm lying because got us a return last year. The white return. I can't remember his name. I'm bugging. Born for Sports says Illuminor at right tackle. Flip Bo inside. It's a couple of options that you have, man, with Bo. For me, I'm kicking Illuminor inside if it comes to that. If Bo can show, because Bo's feet, man. When you look at Bo's feet, he can survive out there on the island. Illuminor can survive out there on the island right now. But I'm just like, man, get your best five on the field. I will say this about Bo, a little bit more seasoning. You gotta let him cook for a little bit more. That's a little bit more season for him. You can throw him out there on a pinch. I think he will survive, but a little bit more season. Get him acclimated. My man Paul says, Big D, pause. Do you think Shane and Dave's bought themselves at least 2 more years by finally drafting their guy? It depends. I think Shane has, for sure. I think Shane has. The leash on Shane is a little bit more loose than Dable. Shane is definitely getting his 5th year. I mean, unless it absolutely collapses. Brian Dable got to prove it still. He got to prove it still. And listen, I wanted them both gone. You guys know I wanted them both gone. But I think with the kind of draft that Shane had, the last 2 drafts, and this draft class still has to play, but the hype behind it, I think Shane is safe. Dable is still on the hot seat, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. Dope Des said we need Pat Riley. Pat Riley got to be what, 80? Pat Riley 80 years old, maybe? Pat Riley got to be 80. Pat ain't coming back to New York. Is Pat still in Miami? Not coaching that. Was he like a GM in Miami? Is he still there or is he retired? Pat Riley ain't coming back. You got a bad chance getting Van Gundy back. Zion says, I want to hear more about Juice Wells since we're lacking in wide receiver weapons for the future, and especially since he has connection with Jackson, but didn't really see much during rookie. They didn't show us much. We didn't get no real video from the rookie minicamp. They never really do. I know he got a decent amount of money. I think he got like $175,000 as a or $165,000 as a UDFA, and that's pretty good. They'll let you know that they like you. But yeah, he does have a good connection with Jackson Dart, but they only played 1 year with Jackson Dart. He was at South Carolina the year prior. But yeah, he does have the connection with Jackson Dart. It's funny to me, because when you look at the wide receiver room, I like Juice. I like Juice more than I like Felton from Virginia Tech, and then Bo Collins from Notre Dame is a question mark for me because I do like the height, the weight, but I really don't know what Bo Collins could be. Juice, he gives you more versatility of where he can play, a lot more experience because he did play. He's a little bit older, but yeah, I like Juice Wells. I think we'll see a lot in OTAs, and hopefully they got the media there so they can put out some tape of these guys running around a bit. Luann says Knicks need better shooters. They suck passing the ball too. I was pissed. Yeah, man, they did. It is what it is, man. I don't know. And then I saw somebody. It was on Twitter. I saw somebody's do like a trade proposal. They said in order to get Giannis to the Knicks, you give up Bridges, Cat, and like 3 other names, and also a first rounder to get Giannis in the building. And I thought about it. I don't want to. Would love Giannis to be on the Knicks, but man, you just when you start getting used to people, even though I'm complaining about the Knicks, when Cat is playing and when he's on, Cat, I like Cat's game. It's just sometimes you scratch your head like, why are you pulling the 35-footer? What are you doing, center? And then nobody's down there to rebound. And then he shoots a couple air balls too. He's like, what are we doing? And then he makes a couple of them. Then he's like, okay, yeah, he can shoot. And then he misses. Listen, it was a wild. There was a point in time where I didn't even watch basketball anymore. Like I would only watch it during the playoffs and stuff like that. And I just disinterested because every time I start watching basketball, I overanalyze things, man, and then it pisses me off. Like I shouldn't be as mad as I am, but I am. Because I'm seeing where the Knicks can be better, and the coaching staff is not doing anything to help the team. Cat is soft. Shout out to Jersey. Cat from Jersey too, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Luann, you are bugging, Luann, respectfully. She says, Dash, I think I want Winston to start. You know what's crazy though? I say that you're bugging, and I see you got the laughing emoji there too. But crazier things can happen. Crazier things could happen. You know Winston gonna throw the ball. That's for sure. Yeah, I got to get caught up on these comments. Shout out to my man Big Blue in the Bronx in the building. If you're not subscribed to Big Blue in the Bronx, just almost 12 minutes ago, you sent this message in. I got to get back on track. So I apologize if I get through these comments super slow, but you guys are on fire right now. Again, hit that like button on the way in. Let the algorithm know that we in the building for sure. Shout out to my man OG Knockout in the building. He says, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid until I see it on the field. I'm not being fooled by this organization. Again, I'm not delusional about this team. Until I see it, I'll believe it. Listen, from your mouth to God's ears. That's the same way I was feeling, man. I go through phases. I go through cycles every year. OG, you know. I go from being optimistic during this time. I get optimistic right after the draft. I'm like, okay, these guys can do this, yeah. And then the season starts. Then I get pissed off. And then I'm pissed off for the whole season. I'm ready for everybody to get fired. Come the new year around Super Bowl, I'm ready for everything to change. And then draft season comes. Start getting hope again. Start getting optimistic. But and it's crazy too, because I for a few years I keep saying, oh, it feels different. This time it feels different. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I want to see it on the field too. Giants got a lot of proving, a lot of respect building, but we got to get our respect back first. And yeah. Now I agree with you though. I agree with you. Ryan says he thinks GBR is going to be the end up being the starting right guard. Patrick, shout out to Patrick. He says our defense is going to be why we win week 1. I think we win in week 1 too. I can't wait for that Commanders game. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. Luann says we need another weapon. I would love to have Justin Jefferson. First of all, that's not happening. That's not happening. But I will also tell you this, right? I would also tell you this. Darius Slayton did what he did. Now, he didn't have fantastic numbers, but Darius Slayton did what he did with inconsistent quarterback play. So we keep saying, oh, we need another weapon. We need another weapon. I think that because the quarterback play should be better, you're going to get more production from Darius Slayton. Like, in my opinion, Darius Slayton should get 1,000 yards this year. That's my expectation for Darius Slayton. He needs to be 1,000-yard receiver, because if he can get 700 yards or 750 yards off of 50 catches, I can't even speak right now, then there's no reason why he can't crack 1,000 yards with 70 catches. And I don't think that's far-fetched. Darius Slayton should be able to get 70 catches this year, I hope. OG says, what gives you the confidence that the organization can develop players because they had stars before and let them walk? They became better players with their new team, homie. What gives me confidence? It's not confidence, it's optimism first. I'll say that. A lot of the times when I say things, I say on paper. I say, oh, this looks good on paper. I'm sick and tired of saying on paper. To your point, OG, I got to see it on the field. But right now, as far as what I think about this team, I have optimism because I'm looking at the names on paper, and I feel like there shouldn't be any excuses. Now, as far as developing players, I'm assuming you're talking about the quarterback. I'm assuming you're talking about some of the younger. Some guys come into this game ready to go. Like Malik Neighbors did not need any kind of development. He just needed a little bit of seasoning to take his game to the next level. And I don't even think it's that. I just think he needs to be able to get the ball on time. And you'll see, Neighbors take off. And I feel that way about a lot of these guys. But I just think that a lot of my optimism comes from, replacing the quarterback and hopefully having more consistent play. Hopefully that answers your question. One for Sports says, I'm excited to see Scatterbo. Sleazy said, just imagine if Wandell was, imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine these guys getting the ball on time. Ball placement. Imagine that first. Just think about every catch. Like I saw a highlight clip of Malik Neighbors, right? And almost every pass to him was late. was late. That first Dallas game, the double move, that's a touchdown if anybody else is throwing that ball. He had that cornerback in a blender, was running up the sideline, turned around, looked for the ball. He had to wait, stop, turn around, and catch the ball. That's a touchdown, man. Just think about every time Malik Neighbors threw the ball, he caught it off the ground and had to fall because of bad ball placement, man. So I think I'm hoping that there's better ball placement. Same thing for Wan'Dale Robinson. I watched him at Kentucky with bum ass Will Levis get the ball to him on time, in stride, and he was yakking people up. Now, he was always getting caught from behind. There's a million clips of that. But it's like, I don't know if people realize like how important timing is. Our timing has sucked. Bad. Pause. Bully Bill says, I like to see Hyatt and Wan'Dale line up in the back. Oh, boy. Whoa. You want Hyatt in the backfield. One thing I hated was like in during minicamp was the end around. Don't give me no end around to Jalen Hyatt. He don't got enough wiggle. Don't have enough wiggle. So if you lining him, Hyatt has no purpose of being in the backfield, in my opinion. Respectfully, I say this. Wan'Dale, you can do that with. You can be a gadget guy with Wan'Dale. That's his role, in my opinion. You can line him up in the backfield. Now he's probably not even going to have a chance to line it up in the backfield because you got 3 solid running backs, in my opinion. But if you want to get, wild with it, Wan'Dale is the gadget guy. He can line up in the backfield. You can have a motion out of the backfield just to make some things happen. But Hyatt is a guy you line up off the ball so he can't get pressed. And you get him downfield. Maybe hit him with a slant route, let his speed do the work. But he don't got the wiggle to be in the backfield like that. Yeah, I know I'm Gunnar Olszewski here. I'm way back. Let me get caught up. My bad if I skipped some of your comments. But I got to get caught up. Get caught up to the chat because I'm still behind a lot. Wan'Dale in the backfield, yeah. Shout out to my man Baghdad. He says, I'm excited to see Theo Johnson back out there. My man was bulldozing dudes before he got injured. Pause. Yeah, I'm excited about Theo Johnson as well. I was trying to think about how often Russell Wilson used the tight ends in Pittsburgh because he got some good tight ends in Pittsburgh. And numbers was okay. Okay numbers in Pittsburgh when it comes to targeting the tight end. And for me, Theo Johnson just needs another guy that needs some developing. Shout out to OG. OG knockout. Me like, what makes you think that we can develop Theo Johnson? I can hear your voice. But nah, we got to, man. These coaches, at some point in time, these coaches have to prove themselves. I would hope. Because I'll tell you this, all of these players can't be bad. Like you can't make it to the NFL and be this bad. I think development has a lot to do with it. I think it's a combination of a few things. But I know for a fact all these guys can't be bad because when they leave and go other places, they become serviceable. So they couldn't, these guys don't suck, man. Pause. Travis Murray says, to be honest, I need Darius Alexander to beat out everybody in practice besides Dex. Darius Alexander is starting. I'll let you know that right now. He might not be lined up with the first group this week. Maybe not in OTAs, but once some pads come on for real, he's beating out Nacho for sure. No doubt in my mind, he's beating out Nacho. He's going to be the guy next to Dexter Lawrence for sure. No doubt in my mind. They're gonna play the game this week. They're gonna have Nacho out there. They might even try to throw out there like some of the newer guys, but it's just for a couple of days. After a few days, Darius Alexander's going to be running with the ones. Or even this though. Even this, you got Ledbetter. You got what's his name, Jackson Robinson, whatever his name is. Guy with the 3 names, man. I'm bad with it. Alexander's starting for real. For real. Shout out to my man 100 grand. He says he's laughing at the Wan'Dale comments, talking about Hyatt too. Yeah, Wan'Dale can line up there, but Hyatt can't be in the backfield. Nah. Nope. David Lopez says, as Big Dash just said, expectations need to be tempered. Have to earn our respect first. Now that's a fact. That's a fact. David also says Dable got to give up the play calling and focus on the team. Let Kafka earn his money, make or break season for Bowen as well. He's got enough weapons. Nah, yeah, Bowen got everything he needs. He got all the ingredients to cook. All the ingredients to cook. Shout out to my man Tony High Points. His dash was good. Just checking in. I'm in the building. Shout out to you, Tony. What's going on, man? Happy Saturday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully everybody has a safe weekend. There it is. That's what I wanted to talk about. Ty 2 Vibey says, I'm looking forward to Hard Knocks. The funny thing is, I am too. After that debacle last year with the front office and the draft and all that other stuff, I'm curious. I'm very, very interested in the in-season Hard Knocks. I know Joe Shane is probably pissed off about it. Brian Dable pissed off about it, but I'm kind of happy that we actually get to see the different aspect of the Hard Knocks. But the funny thing is, it's not even funny. At the time that the in-season Hard Knocks starts, that's usually what, first week, like right after Thanksgiving. I think that's when Hard Knocks in season starts. And year after year after year after year, the Giants have already been mathematically out of it by that time. I am hoping, praying, wishing that we are somehow still in the mix by the time Hard Knocks starts. Because if we're not, it's going to be very, very depressing. Very depressing. Very bad, man. Very bad. Zion says, that's how I felt about the New York Giants since Odell left. I feel like my old high school could have gotten us more wins. That's funny. That's funny. So, yeah, I want to talk about this, though. I want to talk about this Hard Knock. So, there's pros and cons to it, of course. If the Giants are doing well, I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's working and what's, what wasn't working. I want to see how these guys act during the week as far as preparation, for the games. I want to see that. How do they do their installs? I didn't really watch the in season last year with the AFC North. Not with because I was pretty much over Hard Knocks after we got off it. But I might go back and watch a couple of episodes of the in season last year just to see how they actually do. Because I know they do the preparation throughout the week. They show people going through recovery. All of the various storylines, guys. Teams being in it, teams not being in it, type deal, and the rat race that comes along with that. But I'm interested in that. So you guys let me know what you're interested in as far as the in season Hard Knocks, man. Let me know if you a thumbs up, thumbs down for it. Let me know. Are you happy about it? Are you not happy about it? Let me know how you guys feel about it. Let me take the temperature. Travis Murray says, I refuse to temper my expectations. I expect 10 wins. And us being led by a top 2 D-line unit, I'm ready to start bragging again. That's a fact. That's a fact. As far as tempering expectations, I'm not going to temper expectations again. I'm in my optimism stage right now. Like, I feel like, for what I'm seeing on paper, that this team should be in every game, especially when it comes to this defense. There's not a team on our schedule that I fear. Not saying that we're going to beat every team on the schedule. I'm saying prior to this defense shaping up the way that it shaped up, especially in this draft, I was worried about certain things, right? Oh, how are we going to deal with this? And then after free agency, now after the draft, and I'm looking at this roster, I'm like, no, we got players at every level when it comes to this defense right now. A lot of those holes, a lot of the holes have been filled. A lot of the weaknesses aren't weaknesses anymore. The weaknesses turned into kind of like question marks, I would say, if I'm going to be like fair right now. But I'm not going to say I'm going to temper my expectations. I expect this Giants defense. I expect the Giants to have a top 10 defense right off the bat. I think if they ended up being a top 5 defense, a lot of things have to go right in that occasion, for that to happen. But I expect to have a top 10 defense, and I expect to be middle of the pack when it comes to offense. was it? I think PFF did the rankings for the quarterbacks, going into the 2025 season, and they had Russell at 27 right now going into 2025. And this is not just based off of what they did last year. A lot of it has, some of it has to do with that, but they're just saying of the starting 32 quarterbacks, just the starting 32 quarterbacks, Russell Wilson is 27th. And I think I got the list here of the guys. So he's ahead of Justin Fields, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson, Mason Rudolph, and Tyler Shea. Those are the guys that he's in front of. He's behind Darnold. Who is it? Darnold, Cam Ward, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, and then Drake May. Those are the guys that are right in front of him too. So you got this guy surrounded by rookies for the most part, rookies and guys that are still trying to prove themselves. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Russ. Just a little bit disrespectful to Russ. Also, given the weapons that he's going to have with the New York Giants. You know what I mean? So I got expectations for the Giants. I got a lot of optimism right now, but it still has to be proven on the field. My man David Lopez says, I want no parts of Hard Knocks. Last season was a debacle. Yeah, it was a debacle. Yeah, and a lot of people feel the same way because of that. Shout out to Nova Nebula in the building. What's going on, Nova? Big brother in the building. What's going on, Shamari? David Lopez says, come on, Travis, 10 wins with that schedule. 10 wins. 10 wins. I would like that'd be a blessing for sure. D'Angelo says week 2 is going to tell us where we're at. I want to be 2-0 so bad. I want to be 2-0 so bad. You come out the season, you start the season 2-0, you beat the Commanders, you beat the Cowboys. Not only are you 2-0, you're 2-0 in the division. You win those first 2 games. I'm trying to think who does Philly play? Philly got Cowboys, and then I forget, and then what? They got the Chiefs second game. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We go 2-0. Not only are we 2-0, we're also going to be 2-0 in the division. We'll probably be sitting at in the number 1 spot if we started the season off 2-0. Outside of that, outside of standings and all that, I just want to beat the Washington Commanders. But more importantly, I want to beat the Dallas Cowboys too. Like the Washington Commanders just got good. Okay. We had some good battles with them last year. One game we definitely should have won. But the Cowboys been whooping us, especially the 2023, 2024. I need to spin the block on the Cowboys. So yeah, to your point, week 2 is going to tell us where we're at. I think so. My man Island Boy says, yo, what up, Big Blue Nation? That's a fact. Travis says, I know we talk about Bowen having a lot of defense to work with, which I agree with, but Dable is supposed to be the mastermind and the QB guru. We need results from him too. Now, that's a fact. I can even go to the point of saying I'm lying. I just caught myself lying and had to stop. I can't lie to you people. If it wasn't for Bowen, I wouldn't have a doubt in my mind when it comes to this defense if it wasn't for Bowen. But to your point on the offensive side, Brian Dable, man. Brian, yeah. Mr. Guru, Mr. Quarterback Whisperer, the QB Whisperer. You better be doing some whispering. My man David Lopez says, I don't have any doubts that the roster is better, but that doesn't mean it's going to translate to wins. No, 100%. 100%. MKM says the schedule doesn't scare me this season. The Giants better get more. What's that? He better get more wins than losing. Yeah, no, listen. Now, obviously, you can't go 500. There's no more 8-8. You either got to go 9-8 or 8-9. Again, my range is 7 to 10 wins. I think the floor is 7 wins. Anything below 7 wins is a failure, in my opinion, with this roster. I think 9-8 will be a good season for the Giants, 9-8 season after after the past 2 seasons. I like 9-8 for sure, a winning season. I think that helps. I think everybody keeps their job if you go 9-8. I also think if you go 9-8, you're most likely to see Jackson Dart right after the bye. Depending on how those wins come, but also 9-8 action might get you to the dance too. So let's see what happens. But I like that 9-8. I like having more wins than losses for sure. David Lopez also says, it all boils down to the QB play. What is Russ going to give us? I'm glad you talked about it. I'm getting to that in my next section too, because I'm gonna go into some of the grades and some of the stats for Russell Wilson. Shout out to my man Sean, says, "What's up, Big Dash? The Knicks last week gave hope for the Giants season, but the Knicks are down 2-0 now. So I don't know what to expect for the Giants." Like the former Giants speaking to the current team. Okay. Like some people that might fly over a couple people's heads, but I think the energy that the Knicks are providing with them beating the Celtics and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals after so many years, I think that the team, the New York Giants players, are feeding off of what the Knicks are doing. Now, when I say who wants to see a Pacers OKC championship, a lot of that goes into that as well. I want to see the Knicks in the finals. I need that energy in New York because I do believe that energy can transfer over to the football teams, not just the Giants, but the Jets as well. But who cares about the Jets? But I see what you're saying with that. But then they lost 2 games. I'm pissed off, like you're pissed off about it. But I'm not making that connection to the Giants. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep the positives, but I'm not going to take the negatives. And some people say you can't do that. I'm going to do that. Oh man, Bully Bill says, "Is Dable safe with close game losses?" It depends on how the games look. If we're competitive in these games that we're losing, we're putting up points, the defense is playing well, nobody's quitting out there, then yes, it makes a difference. I think it makes a difference. Now you still can't have less than like 7 wins though. You know what I mean? It can't look like it looked last year or the year before that either. That's what it can't look like. We got to score like 20 points a game. It is the Chiefs. Yeah, that's right. It's the Chiefs. So yeah, if we go 2-0, that puts us at the top of the division. Listen, I want to go 2-0 bad. I keep saying I want to go 2-0 bad. Luann says Cowboys the second game, KC the third game, so 3-0. Luann letting it be known. Put it out there in the universe. Put it out there in the universe. Dev says at Travis 10 wins, as Joe Biden would say. Come on, man. That's funny because I can hear Joe's voice. Shout out to my man Authentic in the building. You already know what it is. If you guys know me, you guys know Authentic. If you're not, subscribe to Mr. Authentic in the Beard is the channel. Authentic in the Beard. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. Shout out to Authentic in the building hanging out with us. Where'd he go? MKM says, why some better? What's up? Why some better on here? Scare. Oh, I don't. Why some people on here? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Are scared about the schedule this season. 14-2 MKM. Pass me the sauce, MKM. 14-2. Cheers to you. I'm not gonna say no. Why would I say no? But pass that MKM respectfully. James Frazier says Jackson Dart is, oh boy. James Frazier says Jackson Dart is Tim Tebow, Zach Wilson, Mitch Trubisky, Daniel Jones, Rex Grossman, all wrapped in one. Future trash. James, calm down, James. Don't put that bad hoodoo on Jackson yet. I understand how you feel. Trust me, I understand how you feel. You lump that man in with a bunch of trash. Let's not do that. Just for the sake of being a Giants fan, let's not hope for that. Let's not put that energy out there in the universe. I need Jackson. You guys already knew how I felt about Jackson Dart before the draft. Things changed. Jackson Dart is a Giant. I'm hoping for the best with Jackson Dart. The kid got talent. He wasn't number 1 on my list or number 2 on my list, but the kid got talent. The worst thing that we can do is throw him out there early, though, in my opinion, because a lot of people saying they want to see him early. I don't want to do that. I'm with him sitting back for a while. I need him to sit back for a while, get some seasoning. That man is a brisket. You got to let it smoke for a little bit. You can't cook him fast. No, pause. That sounds crazy. MKM says 13-4? Listen, man. From your mouth to God's ears, man. I'm not gonna tell you that. Good Eats, what's good? My man off Broadway. What's going on off Broadway? Got some folks showing Authentic some love in the building. That's a fact. Let's go ahead and do that. Dope Dead said, pass me the sauce. Yeah, man, pass me the sauce, man. 14-2? Well, you mean 14-3, really? But yeah. Pass me that. MKM says, do you think New York Giants should trade? Come on, man. You know that's not happening. You know that's not happening. But I'll tell you this. If you were in the live when I was streaming the draft, when we traded up, I would have bet a lot of money that we was trading up for Shedeur Sanders. Before all the news and all that other stuff dropped afterwards, as soon as we made that trade, you can go back and see it in the clip of the video. I was overly excited. And then let down. And then, you know what? I pivot, change my mindset. Jackson Dart is our quarterback. David Lopez says, looking at a replacement for JMS. I think he's in the building already. Authentic said, watch the tape. Talk about Jackson Dart. So watch. Nah, that's a fact. Listen, and Authentic knows. I call myself like the biggest Shedeur Sanders pusher. I wasn't trying to listen to anything else, any other option outside of Cam Ward. And again, I watched Jackson Dart. I wouldn't, and it's funny thing. People say, "Oh, you didn't talk about Jackson Dart." I didn't want to talk about Jackson Dart because I wanted Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart could play. He can play. And now that we have him, you look at the tape a little bit differently. Well, I'm looking at the tape with a little bit more optimism. With a little bit more, oh man, I hope Brian Dable can do something. That's how I'm looking at Jackson Dart now. Like, okay. Because before I was a little bit of a hater when it came to Jackson Dart, man. I can say that. I'll be honest. I still didn't have him number 2 though. Authentic had him at number 2 off the bat and didn't care what anybody said to him. Authentic said, I got him as number 2. And he went number 2 as far as quarterbacks go. Authentic was right. Shout out to Authentic. My man Sean Jackson says, I agree, Dash, positive energy and finally an identity and a healthy season for our Giants. If things go as planned, we will see Dart more enough during the preseason. Yeah, he got to. I want to see a lot of Jackson Dart in the preseason. Like, we know what Russ is. We know what Jameis Winston is. Like, we need to see our starters. Let me not be crazy. We need to see our starters. We need to see the offensive line. I think a lot of these people should get reps. Brian Dable has already been blamed of having light practices, and we saw it in preseason. He don't want to play the starters. Pissed a lot of people off. You got to play your starters. These guys got to get snaps. Russell Wilson got to get familiar with his targets in live gameplay. We need to, like the Giants, we can't sit here and try to protect people in the preseason. Look at our schedule. Look at the first 4 games. These guys need to play in the preseason, man. And I pray that they stay healthy, but we can worry about players getting hurt, but we really can't worry about it. Like, we need to start the season off fast, and we can't sit here and have a soft training camp and a soft preseason. The starters need to play together for real. For real, especially this defense. There's a lot of new players on this team. What they say, about 45% of the team is new, and that was before the draft, I think it was. These guys got to play together. Authentic say good, good man dash. Now I got to be honest. You know what it is. We have our good back and forths, brother. But you was on it. You said, listen. I'm still not gonna give you. I still think Shedeur Sanders is better than Jackson Dart. I'm not gonna move off that. I'm not gonna move off that. That's just how I feel. I understand. It is what it isn't, and a lot of that is emotion. But we got Jackson Dart. That's the quarterback of the New York Giants. So I'm running. Listen, I'm rooting for Jackson Dart. Brian Dable got the guy that he wanted. Now Brian Dable got to be right. And I want Brian Dable to be right because I don't want to do this again. Sean Jackson says, has Beard already started talking trash about week 1 when our Giants played? No, you already, listen. Authentic answered you. I'm going to be tuned in for that one. The NFC East show that you guys do, I'm going to be tuned in for that one because this going to be some extra seasoning on that show. Week 1, and I know you're going to be at the game. I know y'all going to be at the game together. Y'all going to walk into that game together, sit next to each other. And, boy, listen, I hope we spank the Commanders. I hope the Beard, and shout out to the Beard. I hope the Beard has a horrible day that day when the Giants play the Commanders week 1. Hope it's a terrible day for him. Authentic, I hope that you're in there and the Commander fans are looking at you with the most hate ever because the New York Giants are whooping on the Commanders. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what, and you get to walk out of there next to your Commander friend and have bragging rights to the next time we see him again. That's what I'm hoping for week 1 for my man Authentic. That's a fact. Luann says, I want an 18-game season. Come on, Luann. Trying to beat these players up. And it might happen. They already said it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. They're going to get that 18th game. We're going to end up with 2 preseason games. What I want to see, what I really want to see, I want to see the playoff. I want to see the playoff setup change. That's what I want to see. If you win a division, and you're scared, I don't. Maybe you shouldn't. You know what? I'm going back and forth when I say that. Like who was it last year? Who somebody won like 14 games, didn't even get a home playoff game, or somebody won. Listen, if you win a division, and you won a division at like 9-8, 8-9, you don't deserve that home game over somebody that won double-digit games. That's just my opinion. I'll say that right now. You still deserve, if you won a division, you still deserve to be in the playoffs, but I think the seeding should change. I really do. 100 grand. I see you 100 grand. Corey Alum says, people are just jealous. Believe me, Wilson is better than people give him credit for and can throw the bomb with accuracy. He says, let's see here how week 1 goes and who makes the 53. So I got a little bit off track. So I want to talk about Russell Wilson a little bit, and I do have some numbers here. And when I went to the grades, I went all the way back to 2020. Overall grade, passing, rushing grades. I really don't care too much about the rushing grade because Russell Wilson ain't the Russell Wilson of old. He can still move around a little bit, but he ain't Houdini how he was, years ago. He can still move around. He can still create some time. So last year, Russell had a 77 overall grade. His passing grade was a 74.9. Now, when people talk about those bad years at Denver, when he was at Denver, that first year in Denver was a 66. His grade was a 66. Passing grade was a 64. The year right after that, right before they shipped him off, he had a 77.5 and a 72.5. So that second year in Denver, despite how we feel about it, how the grades go, was right there. And then he went to Pittsburgh, played less games, grades still stayed the same. And again, there were some holes, and I got to be careful when I talk about Pittsburgh because my wife is a Pittsburgh fan, and I want to be able to sleep in the bed tonight. So, but the Pittsburgh offensive line wasn't that good, respectfully. And then, the wide receivers were pretty good though. Calvin Austin. A lot of people don't mention Calvin Austin, but the wide receiver room was good. The tight end room was good. And when I look at the New York Giants, I kind of like our wide receiver room a little bit better. You know what I mean? I kind of like our wide receiver room, especially right now. I kind of like it a little bit better. I like our offensive line, if when healthy, better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think that no, I don't expect Russell Wilson to be, in the 80s and as far as the grade goes. But if he gives us what he gave the Pittsburgh Steelers, but with the talent that the New York Giants have, with the wide receivers and the tight end spot, with their ability to create, after the catch, yards after the catch, it helps a lot. And last year, the Steelers made it to the playoffs again in one of the toughest divisions, if not the toughest division in the NFL. And you're talking about a team with the Giants where I think our offensive line is better. Again, respectfully, because I'm trying to sleep in my own bed tonight. I think our offensive line is better. I think our wide receiver room as a whole is better. I'm not going to talk about the defense because Steelers defense is Steelers defense, but I think he's in a good situation right now. I'll just wrap it up like that because if I talk too much again, I will be sleeping on the couch tonight talking about these Steelers. But yeah, I think there's a good situation for Russell Wilson to succeed here and have some good, put up some good stats, good numbers. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to talk too much more about that. I am not trying to get in trouble tonight. Not on Memorial Weekend. No. Shout out to my man Derek Jones in the bill. He says Wilson will do good simply by letting the ball go. That's a fact. Wilson is going to take deep shots, and some of them are going to hit. I like Daniel Jones, but I admit he didn't always let the ball fly. That's the one thing that I hated the most about Daniel Jones. You got to let it go, man. Let your playmakers make the plays. Look at what you got down there. Neighbors. I'm taking Neighbors almost over every matchup. Ain't too many cornerbacks out here messing with Malik Neighbors. There might be 2 or 3 of them that can really mess with him one-on-one. Outside of that, throw the ball, man. And unfortunately, with the Colts, I think that listen. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody that's no longer New York Giants. I don't want that kind of bad hoodoo coming back to me. I believe in karma. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it alone. But better quarterback play for the Giants. Absolutely. I do believe that Russell Wilson will let it go. I do believe that Jalen Hyatt can get involved with Russell Wilson on the field. He got to get out the doghouse first, though, because he's in the doghouse when it comes to Brian Dable. And then after that, yeah, let's see what happens. So here we go. Authentic letting it be known. He says, what I noticed from the Steelers tape is Russell Wilson barely got into a groove mid-game. He said they ran the ball way too much on first and second down. I like what I saw with Wilson's tape, though. My wife always said second and Najee. That's something that the Pittsburgh Steelers fans say a lot. Second and Najee. Like Najee's getting the ball on second down. Second and Najee. They say it a lot. But absolutely, that's a good observation for real. Because that's what this household has been seeing too. They do it. But listen, you got Jalen, you had Najee. They had a strong running game. Well, they're known for a strong running game. And then when they got Arthur Smith likes to run the ball. So it is what it is. Jerry Carlock says people got to give Dart a chance. He has some great physical traits, and he did nail his interviews with the coaching staff. Dable looks real happy these days, and that's a really good sign. Listen, more than happy. Brian Dable's like a kid at Christmas right now when it comes to Jackson Dart. But now to your point, I think there's still it's minority. There's a minority that don't like or that don't want to give Dart a chance. And a lot of those people are people like me that were heavy Shedeur Sanders and really weren't looking at any other quarterbacks. I think we fall into that category. But again, at the end of the day, you bleed blue. Shador Sanders is not a Giant. He's a Brown. It is what it is. But I think the majority does like Jackson Dart, and the majority that were pretty much indifferent on Jackson Dart after the interviews, after seeing his interactions with the team, after seeing all of the back and forth phone calls with Brian Dable, you start to like him even more. Like for me, I already knew. And it's funny too, because we talk about swag, we talk about aura. And it's funny too, because when I was talking prior to the draft, when I was talking about Shador Sanders, I would bring up, aura and things like that. And people like, well, I don't care about aura. Can he make the team better? And it's funny, we get Jackson Dart, and now everybody's talking about aura again now. Like, oh, I like the aura of Jackson Dart. And I'm like, yeah, you can see it. He's not. How do I say this? He is the typical New York Giants quarterback, but he is not the typical New York Giants quarterback, if you catch what I'm saying. He's built a little bit different. He's built different. He carries himself differently. Hopefully y'all caught that, though. It wasn't nothing hard to catch, though. Pause. Authentic says Najee broke 60 yards just one time in the last 5 games. The defense went from allowing 17 points per game to 20. Yeah, and still made the playoffs. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. That's a fact, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. That train to sell, man. I remember right after we didn't draft him, you asked me that question, like, oh, how are you able to move on like that after all that stuff? It was hard to move on. It was hard to move on from that, but I can't do it. If I dwell on him not being, I gave it up. But I moved on, man. It is what it is. Shout out to my man R0B in the building, and again, shout out to Rob in the building. If you're not subscribed to Rob, make sure you go ahead and do that. Another Giants content creator here, also a streamer too. So if you like the gaming and all that too, make sure you follow my man R0B. Hey, Greg, what's going on, Greg? Again, I'm not going to say your last name, but salute to you as well. Your last name is crazy. Shout out to my man, 100 grand with the $2 super chat. No comment, just a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love and support. Okay, I do see you. Oh, you did double back. With another $2 super chat says, yo, we're going to be nice this year, Dash. For real. Nah, I think we're going to be good. I think we should be good. Yeah. There's no excuses for me with this team. No excuses. Authentic says, I'm about to watch Sinners. We'll catch, I love Sinners. It's your first time seeing it. You're going to enjoy it. And I know you especially, you take a lot of, pride in how things are produced. I'm curious to see your take, man. So if you reach out on Twitter, let me know how you like that movie. It's some stuff in there, some real artistic things that I've never seen in movies before. And it's either for some people it's a hit or miss. So hopefully you like it. Let me know what you think about it, man. Just hit me in the DMs. Let me know what you think about that movie. And shout out to you. Good night. Stay safe. Safe travels to the movies. Safe travels back. You know what it is, man. Happy Memorial Day to you. My man Derek Jones says, on paper, our defense is already a great defense. Yeah, on paper. We had that discussion earlier with OG Knockout about whether we got to prove it on the field first. Shout out to my man TP in the building. So shout out to TP Way. I was watching, I don't know when you dropped the video, but I was watching you earlier today. And you were talking, you were talking about expectations and stuff like that, and wanting to go to the Super Bowl and the reason why you want to go to the Super Bowl and being a father and having kids that are Giants fans. You can't wait to share that Super Bowl with your kids. I got a chance to do that twice with my kids, with 2 of my kids. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. We need a Super Bowl, and these young kids, these up and coming Giants fans, these ones that we're trying to raise and keep with Big Blue, they need one as well. Because right now, the Giants don't have the best, not even best record. We don't have the best rep when it's going around the league, and it's hard for these younger fans, man. They try to go to school with their Giants jerseys on. People might laugh, especially if you don't live in the tri-state area. And I know you don't live in the tri-state area, so I know. It is what it is. I know because my son getting a bunch of arguments. He wears giant hoodie to school. They got a lot to say. You don't care though, because I built them that way. But shout out to my man TP Way, the Giant in the building. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to TP Way, the Giant. Dable told Dart, I love you, man. Translation, I need you. That's a fact. We're counting on you, man. We're counting on you. I'm counting on you. That's what Dable will say. Please, pretty please. I need you to be the one. I need you to be the one. That's hilarious. Shout out to my man 100 grand with the $5 super chat. He says, yo, I need the instrumental you got in the background. Word. My son made this one. My middle son made this beat for me. He made a lot of the beats on the channel, except for the opening. He ain't make the opening. I jacked that one. I had to snatch the opening, but every other beat that you hear on my channel, my son made it for sure. That, like I said, intros, outros, a little bit different, but all the background music. Shout out to my son for that. And he still charged. He get a percentage too, man. He get a percentage of these lives. He get a percentage of the videos because he made these and produced these beats for me. Oh yeah. No, I appreciate that. And you know what's crazy too? I be telling him too. He don't be trying. He do it as a hobby. He do it when I ask him to do it. I'm like, yo, I need a beat. He'd be like, all right, Dad, and then it take it. I gotta chase him around for it. And then after a while, or when he run out of money, he'd be like, Dad, how much you want for this beat? Or he said, how much you paying for this beat? Yeah, that's like, I throw you something. Then you're gonna get your percentage on the back end too. Pause. Luann says, I love Brian Dable. He's a good and smart coach. This is a new team once again. So I want him extended. He still got 2 years left on his contract. I want him extended to get us to the Super Bowl. I believe in like superstition. I believe in our record, not our record, but our streak, our Super Bowl streak. We have won a Super Bowl in every decade since 1980. Since the 80s. We got 5 years. We got 5 seasons. Well, 25, 26, 27, 28. We got 5 seasons to win the Super Bowl to keep that streak alive. 5 seasons. We win the Super Bowl within the next 5 years. Got to keep the streak alive. Put that out there in the universe. My man David Lopez, and I agree with this. He says Kayvon is going to have a big year. I do agree with that. Yes, he got his 5th year option picked up. It would have been a real contract year if it wasn't for the 5th year option. But I believe because he sees the writing on the wall, he brought in Abdul Carter. He's going to go off. I think he's gonna see it as a challenge, a personal challenge. He's going to see that, oh wow, you guys really drafted a guy over me, and I think he's going to try to go crazy, and I hope he does. And a reason why I hope he does too is because of the versatility of Abdul Carter. You can really get all of these guys on the field at once. You really can do that. And right now, Abdul Carter is going to be cheap. But he got $45 million fully guaranteed. And I think they gave him with like 20. They gave him 29 up front, something like that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they gave him like 29 up front. So those cap hits, not going to be much. Spread out. 100 grand says Brian Burns is going to have a big year too. I think so too. I think once you secure, or once you solidify the defensive tackles, that defensive tackle room, once you're able to shut down the run, and you can get these offenses in 3rd and longs, you'll see Brian Burns, Tibbs, and Carter eat. They're gonna go crazy. Dex too. Luann, you keep saying this, Luann, too. She said Kayvon took plays off in college, and I saw it with the Giants. I'm going to give you just a little bit of pushback on that, right? Wait a minute. OKC is down 38 points. What happened in the second? what happened is I got money on this game too, so I got to check my parlay. But yeah, you said that before about Kayvon taking plays off in college, and then you saw it with the Giants. I'm not going to say that you're getting 100% on every play. You can defend it if you want. You can prosecute if you want as well. But I saw hustle plays. I saw hustle plays from Kayvon. I saw him run across the whole field chasing down a running back before. So the hustle is there. What I do see when it comes to Kayvon, and this is not anything new or anything that anybody doesn't know when it comes to Kayvon. His bag isn't the deepest when it comes to pass rushing moves. You know what I mean? His bag. So he likes the bull rush. He got the speed as well. But once when his first move doesn't work, you see him trying to compute, and sometimes the computer ain't puting. Computer's puting. It don't be happening. But no, I think he's gonna have a good year because one thing that Kayvon does do, he does work hard though. Like we see him in the media, we see him doing all the commercials. He's working with his charities and all that, but he does put the work in as well. He does put the work in as well. But I think he should have a good season. Keep it respectful in the comment section, please, people, please. Um, let's see. My man Greg T says Bowen is out of his depth at DC. He's got to go so this defense can live up to their potential. Um, I'll say this. In I don't like defending Shane Bowen. But there was something that happened last year that I got to talk about, right? Last year when they announced Shane Bowen, they were talking about, and this was on Hard Knocks too. This was on the Hard Knocks that we watched. He told the scouts, because this was before the draft, he told the scouts, he told Joe Shane, he told them what he needed in order to run his style of defense. He told them what he needed, and they did not provide it for him. Now he still is no excuse. He still should have been able to cook with the players on the team, and we saw it on occasions where the defense did play well. We were leading the league in sacks at some point in time in the season early on, so there was some success there, but we never really could stop the run. Now that we're able to stop the run, or now that we believe that we have the players that are able to stop the run, I'm giving him a little bit of rope. We don't have a choice in the matter. He has a lot to prove, though. He definitely has a lot to prove. My man Baghdad talking about Deontay Banks. Deontay Banks will step up. He has to. He absolutely has to. He got some young cornerbacks behind him that can push him too. And I'm not talking about Flott, and I'm not talking about Hawkins. I like the more that I watch Corey Black, the more that I like him. Also, I think Donald Fortune makes the team. Because when I look at that cornerback room let's talk about the cornerback room, right? So obviously you got Poston Adebo, you got Tay Banks. After that, you got Cordell Flott. Cordell Flott is in the contract year, but Cordell Flott is absolutely going to be the first person that comes off the bench, whether it's an outside boundary corner spot, if he's not stealing reps, but somebody needs to breathe. The Cordell Flott is coming in, whether it's a slot, Cordell Flott is coming in, right? But after that, it's a bunch of question marks after that for the cornerbacks, people that have been on the team already. Like you look at Trey Hawkins. Trey Hawkins, I can't even say he showed a glimpse. He showed a piece of a glimpse last year. Got an interception last year. That first year training camp he went crazy. But he kind of disappeared after that. Got hurt, didn't play, then was in the doghouse a little bit. But after that, when you look at the cornerback room, it's wide open. It's wide open for these young guys to get a spot. Corey Black, I believe, makes the team, especially because of special teams as well. He played gunner, was good at that. But Donald Fortune, as a UDFA, has a real chance of making this team, and I actually hope he does. Because one thing you can't teach is physicality, and you can't teach height. Donald Fortune is not the fastest. He was a guy that was a safety that converted into a cornerback. Usually you see it go the opposite way. But he has good instincts, especially in zone. And what does Bowen like to do? Run zone. So we'll see what happens with those guys. But I got high expectations for some of these guys. No says, do you believe we have a wide receiver too currently on the roster like the other three divisions team? I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the duo, a wide receiver duo. If I'm forced to answer, I'm gonna say yes, but it's not going to be to the level of these other duos. Like I know people want Amari Cooper. You know, they want Gabe Davis. They want Keenan Allen, right? But when I look at Darius Slayton, and I said it earlier, what Darius Slayton was able to do with bad quarterback play, he should be able to have more production with better quarterback play. Like to me, there's no reason why Darius Slayton should not be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. Now, if Darius Slayton cracks 1,000 yards, then yes, I do believe we have a wide receiver too. If Darius Slayton can get 750 yards off of 50 catches, I believe he can crack 1,000 off of 70 catches. And I think he gets more targets with the type of quarterback that we have. Last year, Wan'Dale Robinson got 140 targets. 140 targets. You telling me you can't give Darius Slayton 30 of those instead of Wan'Dale? I think it's just something that's going to happen naturally because of the quarterbacks and how they play the position. But yeah. Have a good night, David. David Lopez says, good night, Giants brethren. I'm out. You know, be safe. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Don't worry, we about to get out of here. Uh-oh. I see my TP Wave responding. Luann says, Kayvon comes off like a phony. Sorry, comes off like a phony. Sorry, but that's how I feel. Big talker. One thing I will say about Kayvon is this. He's had the media training. He's already talked about what he wanted to do after his football career, and that rubbed people the wrong way. I can see why you say he comes off a little bit phony. Yeah, because I can see why you say that. But yeah, I'm not going to argue with your opinion. I thought about pushing back, so I'm not going to argue with your opinion. You feel the way that you feel. You have the right to it. I do think he's going to have a better season this year, for sure. Greg said you make a good case. I'll let him make it for now. Yeah. TP Wade says the no. He says we definitely have a wide receiver too. Darius Slayton is that. I think people get lost in the sauce with trying to be like other teams with two number ones. But like they say, there's 100 ways to skin a cat. That's a great answer. And I think that's exactly what it is. When you look at all of these other duos in the NFC East, you're looking at their production. And Darius Slayton does not have the production of some of these other guys, these wide receiver twos. But again, a lot of those guys had, coming from better situations, better quarterback play. But I'm high on Darius Slayton this year. I'm very high on Darius Slayton this year. I have Darius Slayton in my way too early expectations, and I usually don't do this till after OTAs and we get in the training camp. I'm Darius Slayton is going to have over 1,000 yards receiving. I would almost stamp that, and I think he has at least 6 to 8 touchdowns this season. I think that happens. Derek Jones says if Banks steps up, the defense is going to be something else. I agree with that. I do agree with that. James, man. James, what's going on, James? James came in like the black cloud, man. He says that cornerback room is getting cooked. Every Dallas game, the writing is on the wall. If CD cooking, Banks, so is Pickens. Okay. Oh, if CD is cooking Banks, so is Pickens. I understand why you said that. I'm going to leave it at that. Listen, we got to prove it. And until we prove it on the field, James, your statement is valid. My man Duran Osmond says, if the offense eats some clock and picks up first downs, the defense can be special. We had good time of possession last year. We just weren't scoring any points. But you're absolutely right. Complementary football is what we're talking about. You got to be able to sustain drives. And then the defense got to get off the field on third down. And if you can do that, again, that's a recipe, for victories. So, yeah, I agree with that. Shout out to my man Nimmer in the building. What's going on, Nimmer? Been a while. He says, Big Dash, bro, you think the Knicks win tomorrow? Come on. Nimmer, I ain't seen you in a while. Nimmer, that's the first thing you want to ask me. Do I think the Knicks are going to win? Yes, I think the Knicks are going to win tomorrow. Yes. I think the Knicks are going to win 4 in a row. Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. Emma, Knicks in 6. Side guy Bryce says, I hear D Banks looks like he hit the weights he did this offseason. That can't hurt. Just turn your head and look for the ball. That's it, man. That's it. That's all he got to do. Yes, he does. Yes, he does look bigger. Pause. You could tell he's been in the weight room. He's been training hard. He cut the dreads off. There was something going on. There was an internal fight happening because usually when people cut their dreads off, it's because they're looking for change, and that goes for people playing pro sports or everyday Joes. When somebody decides to cut their dreads off, that's a life decision. You're looking for something different. You're trying to make a change, and hopefully that's true when it comes to Tay Banks. But tell me I'm lying. If anybody that knows anybody that had dreads and they cut their dreads, something happened. They might be on the run too. Who knows? They might be on the run. You said, host of horror says, what's going on, host? He says, heard Najee Harris called Dart Action Jackson, and I like that too. Action. Shout out to the people that actually know what Action Jackson is from. Shout out to the people old enough to remember Action Jackson, the movie. If you know that, listen, I know a lot of people in here know Action Jackson. Yeah. But I like that nickname for real. If he can earn that nickname, even better. Luann said, I love Slayton from day one. Yeah, Slayton proved a lot of people wrong. 7-round pick, 6-rounder. He was a 6-rounder. Came in, had that early connection and succeeded. He had an issue with the drops, though. He had an issue with the drops, but he pretty much, cleaned those up to the best of his ability. Now I like Slayton. I'm a fan of Slayton because he got it out the mud. He made it from the bottom of the bottoms. And you know what? And no matter what we threw at him as fans, he took it and ran with it. Fears, what's going on, Fears? He says, hopefully the new culture of players shocks the system. I think so. I think it will. There's a lot of good energy in the locker room right now. There's a lot of good energy. Greg says, Knicks in 6. I need some. I need some of that pack. Who would I get it from? Who told me? Whoever told me 14-3. That's where I got the pack from. That's where I got the sauce from. Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. Clip that. Yeah, Rick Torch already let it be known. Carl Weathers. That's a fact. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Shout out to rest in peace, Apollo Creed, for the people that don't know Carl Weathers' real name. There you go. Greg let it be known, Apollo Creed. That's a fact. Actually, I might watch that tonight. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that tonight, but it sounded good. It sounded good. I ain't seen that movie in a while though. I remember that as a kid. I haven't seen that movie in at least 20 years though. Probably even longer than that. Well, unfortunately, I probably was a teenager last time I saw Action Jackson. All right. Rand Osmond says, he says, how do you feel about Singletary and Tracy fumbling issues? Have them visit Tiki. Yeah, they got to clean them up. There's no way around that. Got to clean them up. Tracy, Singletary especially. But the funny thing is, without Singletary fumbling the way that he did, and then also he got hurt, Tracy doesn't get those chances. And then, Tracy, well, a lot of people, like even Eric Gray fumbled on like a kick return. A lot of people, they got to secure the ball. They need high and tight. Like my old coach used to tell me, high and tight. Keep the ball high and tight. Yeah, I hated it, man. Nimmer says, guys, thoughts on Reggie Miller call. I wanted him. Yeah, I don't like him calling the game. I don't like the fake bias. he wants to root for the Pacers, and he's trying to keep it unbiased. And I don't know, he should have been more like on the court next to Spike Lee rather than calling the game. I think they dropped the ball with that one. He is doing a good job. I'll say that he's doing a good job. He's doing his job, but yeah, no, I need Reggie Miller, the villain, not the neutral or want to be neutral. Reggie Miller. That's a fact, Ryan. Knicks need both in Indy. That's a fact. That's a fact. My man Greg says Scatterbo will gladly take them spots if they can't hold on to the ball. Now, I need it to be a committee. I need it to absolutely be a committee. Luann says Scatterbo is a starter. I needed to be a true committee, and I need Brian Dable to actually stick with the run. Brian Dable used to abandon the run way too early, and it used to just infuriate me. Again, I'm watching these games on my TV, just yelling at my screen like, "Run the ball! It's working. Run the ball!" And he'll just get away from it. But I really like the running back room. I think these guys can do some things. Scatterbo, a lot of people, he's wearing the number 44. I can't help but think about Ahmad Bradshaw and the physicality that he ran with, being a smaller guy. Scatterbo, smaller guy, wearing the 44. Hopefully he keeps it. He wasn't really sure if he liked the number or not. I hope he keeps the 44. That's me being selfish. He can get whatever number he wants that's left or whatever happens after they get it down to the 53. But I like Scatterbo in 44. I think the 44 looks good on him. Ryan, I hope not. He says, you think Giants cut Bellinger for cap space? If the Giants do cut Bellinger, I hope that they bring him back. I think Bellinger is valuable on this team because he's not only a tight end, he's also the slash fullback slash H back. He's that guy, and also he's a solid blocker. And when they throw him the ball, he catches it. He catches it. He's just not getting a lot of targets. But I hope they don't do it. But I can see why they would do it because he saves you like almost 3 million, just over 3 million that you save by cutting Bellinger. But sometimes they cut people and they bring them back on a new contract. If we do cut Bellinger, hopefully we bring him back on a different contract. But I think he deserves to be here. And I'm kind of mad that they put him in the doghouse and they didn't utilize him because just like the New York Giants have been doing, especially since Shane and Dable have gotten here, they've drafted players and then automatically have drafted or either signed players over their draft picks. And Daniel Bellinger, his rookie season, despite getting his eye socket cracked, he had a good start to his season. After the injury, he came back, had some very good plays in the playoffs, important plays in the playoffs, even though he had one drop. But I like Daniel Bellinger a lot. You're not going to get me to say anything bad about him. I wish him nothing but the best. Shout out to his pops too, because his pops hit me up in a DM and he said, thank you for always supporting his son. And like I said, I like Daniel Bellinger. I'm a big fan. I see the potential there, and hopefully the Giants can get him more involved. Yeah, it's crazy. Greg said you could throw a way back to some Frank Gifford type ish with Scatterbo run, throw, and catch. Listen, I know he didn't. I don't want Scatterbo throwing the ball at all. It might happen because he was successful. It worked. I can't say it's successful but it worked. It worked when I saw it. But yeah, Scatterbo is going to bring a different level of excitement to the Giants. Just him short yardage, getting the first down, him stiff arming somebody or running somebody over and keep going. He's gonna bring that energy to the team. Just it doesn't even have to be a touchdown. Just a big play from Scatterbo, big first down, or a tough run. It's going to energize the team. So I can't wait to see Scatterbo out there. My man Bookings, shout out to Bookings. He says, "Yeah, I don't know why they got away from Bellinger. You know why they did it. They were chasing the wide receiver one. They picked up Bellinger, and then a year after that, everybody was saying that Daniel Jones needed a wide receiver one. And instead of a wide receiver one, what did they do? They went and got Darren Waller, a tight end one, and then Daniel Bellinger turned into a glorified fullback. And then after that, they picked up, Theo Johnson, and they put him on the back burner. So now it's Theo Johnson, Chris Manhurts, and Bellinger is barely getting into the game. But the funny thing is every time they target Daniel Bellinger, he catches the ball, and it's normally a first down. So, I mean, you guys, I've said this before. I've said it a lot. Luann asked Dash, when will you be live again? It's going to be Saturdays is what I do, regularly scheduled every Saturday, late night Giants talk. If anything happens big, I will, I'm live during the week, like the schedule release. I went live, but right now, if anything big happens during OTAs, maybe I go live midweek. I don't know. But right now, it's just a regularly scheduled Saturday nights, vibing with y'all. Late night Giants talk, man. Thanks for everybody for being here. 92 people still in the building. Again, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that as well. I appreciate the love and support from everybody. Nima asking everybody if they think the Knicks are going. Nima, Knicks and 6. Nima, go to say that before you go to bed. Nima, right before you close your eyes. Knicks and 6. And then tomorrow we'll see what happens. Luann, I was gonna say, if the Knicks win tomorrow, I might go. I'm not going live. What's going on, Hirsch? Shout out to my man Hirsch in the building. Bookend says Knicks have to win. That's a fact. That's a fact. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even get through all the points, but I think we talked about a lot today. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Again, I appreciate everybody for vibing with me, hanging out. Again, this is Memorial Day weekend. Spend some time with your family. But again, at the end of the day, it's not just about the beers and the burgers. It's about Memorial Day and the people that lost their lives, fighting for this country. So shout out to all the family that lost loved ones out there. And then also let's talk about the veterans as well. Shout out for everybody that, thank you for your service. Everybody that went out there fighting for this country. So remember what the season is about. But at the end of the day, get yourself some good barbecue and some good beer too. Do that. I got to figure that thing out too, man. I got to put something on this grill. My man Ronald Helko says last year and this year they picked really good tight ends. This is going to get interesting. This year's pick was the number 1 tight end coming out of high school. Injuries hurt him. Talk about Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson has a lot of potential. And I'll end it at that. Theo Johnson has a lot of potential. You just got to be able to get him the ball. He did have an issue with some drops, but again, that's talking about time. That's just time and, getting familiar. He's excited to be playing with Russell Wilson. A lot of these guys grew up watching Russell Wilson when they were small, or when they were young, I should say. And they're excited about this quarterback room. You saw it with Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is excited about this quarterback room too. So I can't wait. I can't wait for the season to start. Again, OTAs or start Tuesday. I'm hoping and praying that the media, the beat writers do their job and they get us a lot of footage, because when it comes to the Giants.com, they are stingy when it comes to the footage. They'll put out maybe 1 or 2 highlights and that's it. If you're following these beat writers, especially it's a SNY is one, online. No, Giants Insider is another one. They put out a lot of clips from practice. Art Stapleton too. They put out a lot of clips from practice, and hopefully they do that, on the 27th on Tuesday, so we can see these guys in action. I can't wait, man. I've become anxious. I just want to see these guys on the field. I can't wait for football to start too. So that's it, man. I'm gonna close this thing out. Her says, Dash, you are a great American. Salute to you. Great. I don't know if I've ever been called a great American. I'll take it. For sure, I'll take it. Luann says, enjoy your holiday, Dash. Hopefully you guys enjoy yours, man. Again, and I know Luann, tough. I know you had a loss earlier this year. Praying for you for that. Praying for peace and good vibes and all that. Holidays is tough, especially when you lost someone. So Luann, my thoughts and prayers for you. Cybra, he says, Indy sweep, y'all disrespect the Pacers, so pay the price. Listen, Cybra. It's not the time for that. It is not the time for that. By the time we have the next live on next Saturday, either the the Knicks will still be fighting, or the Knicks will be gone, and hopefully you're here for that. I hope you're here for that, brother. I hope you're here for that. Nimmer says Jordan Renan also puts out a bunch of clips. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Um, my man off Broadway says, peace, y'all enjoy. Be safe. That's a fact. We're gonna get out of here. And Luann, you already know Luann. You already know Luann. Shout out to you. And again, everybody enjoy Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. You know, if you're going out to barbecues and cookouts, make sure you guys come home safe as well. That's what it's all about, getting back to your home safely, getting back to your family safely, but still having, still enjoying yourselves. So still enjoying yourselves. So I got Bryce says I ain't going nowhere, but guess what? I'm going somewhere right now. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation.